It's been 21 years since an Irish team has made it to a World Cup. That team, well, they had the man next to me on it. Alongside Kevin Kilbane, I'm Matthew Scianitti. But Kevin, this Irish women's team, the girls in green, they made an impact, quite literally, physically, against the Australians. They will face Canada now. What should the Canadians know about the Irish?
Well, you spoke about that physicality there. It's absolutely the trademark, the hallmark of this Irish side. It's one thing that's really endeared them to the Irish public, and they've had so much negativity, probably over such a long period of time. But now we're seeing over the last 5 or 6 years some real breakout stars. Katie McCabe obviously being one, Denise O'Sullivan another. And I think that regardless of anything that's been surrounding the team, I think we're starting to see on the field an excellent side first and foremost, but also a side that competes. The one thing that Canada have got to be up for in this game, they've got to be up for a fight, because this side have done, or the Irish side have done everything against against the odds. That's the way that I would look at it from the side. They're a side that are going to compete, and the Canadians have got to be ready and up for it, yes. Against
all the odds. There's really a kinship when you speak about that in terms of the situations you see in almost every group between a national women's team and their federation. The Canadians can understand because they look at the Irish, and a few years ago they were dealing with the same situation in terms of equal pay and getting the recognition and the resources that they wanted from the federation.
Yeah, well, you're going back to 2017, and there's so much that would ring true, certainly with the Canadian soccer audience. The players threatened to boycott an international game. It's almost like a last resort for a lot of the players when they do that. But with good reason. They felt underappreciated. They described themselves as fifth-class citizens at the time, Matthew. And I think when you look at them and what happened then, that has almost changed the landscape of Irish football. There was so much that was going wrong with the federation, with my federation, the Football Association of Ireland at the time. Now we are seeing a federation under different leadership really buy into what the women's game can achieve and what this women's side can achieve going forward. There was an agreement in 2021 where they agreed the Equal Pay Act. That is certainly something, a step in the right direction for the side. Now, the way that Irish soccer in general has been, it's been seriously underfunded. The women's team have seriously been underappreciated. But now, certainly with sponsors getting on board, most sponsors only want to get on board with the Irish side. The Irish senior men's team do not have a sponsor right now, and I think that's largely down to the success of this Irish side, that so many people want to be part of history because they are history makers and household names now.
You talk about overcoming the odds. Everything that this team has had to deal with and now are finding success in spite of. How has that galvanized the support around the nation for this team?
Yeah, I think looking back to the Hampden Park victory in the playoff game against Scotland, Amber Barrett's goal is now an iconic goal in Irish soccer history, simply with what happened maybe in the aftermath. The players received a lot of stick for Irish rebel songs that were being played in the dressing room after the game, songs that we as the men's side would have played for year upon year, but the very nature of those songs drew criticism from some quarters, and I think that the players fronted it up. They fronted it up in a big way, Matthew, and I think that they came out of that with a lot of credit, I think, for how they handled the whole situation. But I think from then, I think they've moved forward. There's so many different aspects to like and admire about this women's side, with what they've done, what they've achieved to get to the position that they're in, certain things that have gone against them over the years, so many women that have been out of pay playing, or out of pocket actually playing for the country. It's incredible to see where they are now, and again, they've become household names for a reason, the talent that they've got, but also for the characters that they have got within the Irish setup, yes.
And so, knowing all that, if they beat Canada, is it the most significant event for the Irish women?
I think it'll be the biggest win in Irish soccer history. Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned that Hampden Park game, which got them to the World Cup, but this result, if they were to win the game against Canada, would be the biggest result, yes.
Katie McCabe said it, when you wear the Irish jersey, it's a sense of pride, and that is reverberating not just in Australia, but across the football world.